The funny thing about getting older is that our brains start doing these little magic tricks, like walking into a room and suddenly forgetting why we came in there, or meeting someone we've known for 20 years and boom, their name just vanishes into thin air. It's not dementia, it's not a disaster, it's just your brain gently reminding you that it needs a bit more care than it used to. But here's the good news. Science is showing us that the brain is a lot more like a muscle than we thought. You can strengthen it, protect it, even rebuild parts of it with the right nutrition. And no, I'm not talking about expensive pills or weird supplements with unpronounceable names. I'm talking about real food, the kind that grows in the ground, swims in the sea, or sits humbly on your kitchen counter, waiting to make your neurons dance again. So grab your tea or your morning coffee, and let's talk about the 6 foods that can actually feed your brain and fight off memory loss, brain fog, and even dementia naturally. No miracle kills, no gimmicks, just nature doing what it's always done best. Let's start with one of the brain's all-time favorite snacks, fatty fish. Now, I know some of you are thinking, fish? I've had enough of that growing up. But stay with me. Fatty fish like salmon, sardines, mackerel, and trout are packed with omega-3 fatty acids, especially something called DHA. Your brain loves DHA. In fact, about 60% of your brain is fat, and a good chunk of that is made up of omega-3s. They help your brain cells communicate, reduce inflammation, and even build new connections. Imagine your brain cells as little phone operators, each trying to keep the line clear and strong. Omega-3s are like the perfect signal booster. Without enough of them, the lines get fuzzy. You start forgetting where you put your glasses or what you came to the store to buy. But when you feed your brain the good fats, everything fires smoothly again. And it's not just about memory. Omega-3s have been linked to lower rates of depression, anxiety, and even Alzheimer's. It's like an emotional armor for your brain. So whether it's a tuna sandwich for lunch or a piece of grilled salmon for dinner, think of each bite as a little gift to your neurons. If you're not a fan of fish, don't worry, I've got you. You can also get omega-3s from flax seeds, chia seeds, or walnuts. Just a handful of walnuts a day can give your brain a dose of those same brain-protecting fats. And honestly, who doesn't love a handful of nuts with their evening tea? Now, speaking of snacks, let's move on to something a little sweeter, berries. Strawberries, blueberries, raspberries. Basically, if it stains your fingers, it's probably good for your brain. These little fruits are loaded with antioxidants, especially flavonoids. Think of antioxidants as tiny superheroes inside your body, flying around and fighting off the villains, those nasty things called free radicals that damage your cells over time. When you eat berries regularly, you're not just protecting your body, you're protecting your brain from oxidative stress, which is a fancy way of saying brain aging. Studies have shown that older adults who eat berries consistently have better memory and slower mental decline. So if your morning cereal looks a little boring, toss in some blueberries. Or if you're feeling fancy, blend them into a smoothie with some yogurt and a drizzle of honey. You'll be feeding your brain something it genuinely recognizes and appreciates. And here's a fun fact. Researchers at Harvard found that people who ate 2 or more servings of blueberries or strawberries each week delayed cognitive aging by up to 2.5 years. That means your brain could literally feel a few years younger just from eating fruit. Now that's the kind of anti-aging secret I can get behind. Let's talk about the third food, and it's one that's so common most people overlook its power. Leafy greens. Spinach, kale, collard greens, Swiss chard, these are like nature's multivitamins. They're loaded with vitamin K, lutein, and folate, all nutrients that support healthy brain function. Vitamin K in particular helps build fats in the brain that are essential for memory and learning. Folate helps your brain process information and stay sharp, and lutein protects against cognitive decline. There's a famous study from Rush University that showed people who ate one serving of leafy greens a day had brains that functioned as if they were 11 years younger. 11 years! That's not just impressive, that's transformational. Now, if you're not exactly a fan of salad, don't worry. You can sneak greens into soups, stir-fries, omelets, heck, even smoothies. You don't have to eat like a rabbit to think like a genius. The idea is to just give your brain a steady supply of those vitamins and antioxidants that help it stay young. And maybe that's the bigger message here. Your brain doesn't get old because of your age. It gets old because it stops getting what it needs. The moment you start giving it the right fuel, it wakes up. It remembers. It starts firing again. Let me tell you a story. My neighbor, Helen, just turned 74. A few years ago, she started noticing little things, forgetting appointments, repeating stories. Her doctor told her it was just normal aging, but she wasn't ready to accept that. So she started reading about brain-healthy diets, began adding salmon twice a week, berries every morning, and spinach in her omelets. Within months, she felt sharper, lighter, more focused. Her daughter joked that she started beating Google when it came to remembering things. Now, is Helen some kind of miracle? No. She's proof that when you feed your brain responds. You see, we've been taught that aging equals decline, but that's not the full story. The human brain is incredibly adaptable. It can grow new connections even in your 70s, 80s, and beyond. It just needs the right building blocks, and that's where food comes in. Now, before we go further, I want you to think about something. What did you eat yesterday? Did your brain get anything from that meal, or was it just your stomach that got fed? Because when you start eating for your brain, everything else in your body follows. Your mood improves, your energy rises, you sleep better, and most importantly, you feel more like yourself. So far, we've talked about fatty fish, berries, and leafy greens, 3 of the most powerful allies for your brain. But we're not done yet. There are 3 more foods coming up that might surprise you. One of them is something most people drink every morning without realizing it's protecting their memory. In part 2, we'll dive into those last 3 foods, and I promise one of them will make you very happy. Because brain health isn't about restriction or rules. It's about rediscovering how good your mind can feel when you give it what it deserves. So, we've already met 3 of the brain's best friends: fatty fish, berries, and leafy greens. Together, they're like a little orchestra of memory, mood, and focus. But we're just getting to the really interesting part. Because now we're moving into the foods that might already be sitting quietly in your kitchen, waiting to remind your brain how brilliant it can be. Let's start with something that gets a lot of people excited. Coffee. Yes, you heard me right. Your morning cup of coffee isn't just a wake-up call for your body, it's a boost for your brain. In fact, researchers have found that regular coffee drinkers tend to have sharper memory, better concentration, and even a lower risk of Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease. Here's why. Caffeine blocks something in your brain called adenosine, which is basically a sleepy chemical. When adenosine is blocked, your brain cells fire faster, communication improves, and your mood lifts. It's like flipping a light switch in your head. But there's more to coffee than just caffeine. It's also loaded with antioxidants, those same powerful molecules that protect your brain from stress and damage. The combination of antioxidants and caffeine gives your brain both immediate focus and long-term protection. Of course, moderation is the key here. 1 to 2 cups a day is plenty. More than that, and you might end up jittery instead of genius. And if coffee isn't your thing, green tea offers a similar brain-loving effect with a calmer kind of energy. Now, speaking of calm, let's talk about the 5th food, Turmeric. This golden spice has been used for thousands of years in traditional medicine, and modern science is finally catching up to what grandmothers in India have known all along. The secret behind turmeric's power is a compound called curcumin. Curcumin has this remarkable ability to cross something called the blood-brain barrier, which means it can directly reach your brain cells. Once it's there, it reduces inflammation, boosts antioxidant levels, and even helps clear away the protein buildup linked to Alzheimer's disease. Think of turmeric as your brain's gentle housekeeper, sweeping out the mental clutter, calming the chaos, and leaving things shiny and sharp again. You can sprinkle turmeric on roasted vegetables, stir it into soups, or mix it with warm milk for what's called golden milk. A pinch of black pepper helps your body absorb it better, so don't forget to add that. And now for our final food, one that's small, humble, and absolutely essential for brain health: dark chocolate. Yes, you can officially eat chocolate and call it brain food. But not just any chocolate. Look for the kind with at least 70% cocoa. The darker, the better. Dark chocolate is rich in flavonoids, caffeine, and antioxidants that improve blood flow to the brain, sharpen focus, and even lift your mood. In fact, studies show that people who eat small amounts of dark chocolate regularly perform better on memory tests and feel happier overall. There's a reason for that. Chocolate stimulates the release of serotonin and endorphins, the feel-good chemicals that make life a little sweeter. So when you savor a square of dark chocolate, you're not indulging, you're actually fueling your brain. Now, I can already hear someone saying, "Are you telling me that between salmon, coffee, and chocolate, I can think better and feel younger?" Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Because brain health isn't just about what you avoid, it's about what you add. The right foods nourish the brain from the inside out. They rebuild damaged cells, strengthen connections, and give you the energy to stay sharp, engaged, and fully present. Let's take a quick moment to put it all together. When you combine these 6 foods, fatty fish, berries, leafy greens, coffee, turmeric, and dark chocolate, you're giving your brain a complete toolkit for protection, repair, and growth. It's like upgrading from an old dial-up internet connection to high-speed fiber internet. The signal is faster, the message is clearer, you remember things, focus longer, and feel mentally alive again. But here's the thing most people forget. These foods don't work overnight. They're not quick fixes. They're quiet heroes working behind the scenes, building a foundation for your future self. Every spoonful, every sip, every healthy choice, it all adds up. It's like saving money for retirement, but this time you're investing in your mind. I've seen it happen over and over again. People who thought their sharp days were behind them suddenly start remembering names, reading more, solving puzzles faster. Not because they found some magical pill, but because they started eating like they believed their brain was still capable of greatness. And if you're watching this right now, I want you to remember something very important. Your brain hasn't given up on you. It's waiting for you to feed it, challenge it, and trust it again. Maybe you've noticed your memory slipping a little, or you sometimes struggle to find the right word mid-conversation. That's okay. It's not the end. It's an invitation to care for yourself in a deeper way, to give your body and mind the respect they've earned after decades of hard work. The truth is, aging isn't about losing your spark. It's about refining it. Your body might move slower, but your mind can still dance. You just have to give it the rhythm, the nourishment, and the attention it deserves. So tomorrow morning, when you make your breakfast, take a moment to ask, is this meal feeding my brain or just filling my stomach? Add some berries to your yogurt, Toss a handful of spinach into your omelet. Brew that coffee mindfully, and maybe enjoy it with a little square of dark chocolate on the side. Small, joyful moments of nourishment, because that's what true health looks like. And if you ever feel discouraged, remember this. Your brain is one of the most miraculous organs in the universe. It has rewritten your story countless times already, learning, adapting, surviving. It can do it again. Age doesn't erase your brilliance, it reveals it. And by feeding your brain, you're not just protecting memories, you're creating new ones. So go ahead, eat smart, think bold, and never underestimate what your beautiful brain can still do. And if you found this video helpful, make sure to hit that like button, share it with a friend who could use a little brain boost, and subscribe for more tips on living strong, sharp, and independent at any age. Because you're not just adding years to your life, you're adding life to your years.